my name's Luna and I'm here to fill you in on all the references and break down the latest episode of Critical Role.
I will teach you to mock me.
We pick up with Belle's Hells traveling to meet Hevestro, Hierophant of the Emerald Tree, a powerful archdruid with their accompanying Eilidon guide, a wind cougar. The first day traveling through the wilderness is uneventful, and so they set up a camp and we settle in for some character interactions. Oh yes, the best bits! First, Ashton approaches Orym and asks him for some tips on meditation because he's interested in tapping into the landscape around them.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm down. Damn. So you can always just,
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm starting to think about my situation in ways that I'm not. I'm not being quiet about it.
Maybe like 15 feet off from the fire.
I don't know. I've decided maybe it's time to start thinking about my situation.
That could apply to so many things right now.
How I got here, what it means, what happened to me. I mean, the Shari shit, the fucking helmet, this fucking thing. Like, I don't know. Yesterday kind of threw me.
I'm very hopeful that we're going to get some more Ashton backstory in this arc, and it's awesome that Ashton is articulating, wanting to engage with their past, considering that they've been so closed off and shady about it before. Orym, also being very mindful of Ashton's chronic pain, gives some sort of pressure massage to help take their mind off things.
Oh, fuck, Jesus, fuck. Oh, wow. Nope, that's good.
That's a good thing.
10 out of 10 wholesome character interaction. Meanwhile, Bor'dor has been making some fruit leather or fruit roll-ups with some blueberries he found, and Prism carves a glyph into his crossbow to see if it will do anything, and using the runes as a container for a spell, she casts a 4th level dragon's breath into it. Bor'dor then gives it to Denise to test.
Right. So very dexterously, I think she finds like a tree to kind of like stand next to, and then points at a tree that's 15 feet away, maybe 20 feet away.
Cone.
Okay, so maybe within that.
30.
And then counts to 3, shoots it, and then does like a roll to the back of the tree.
Okay. You go ahead and fire the crossbow. As you fire it, the runes that you had carved into it glow ever so faintly, and the bolt as it releases. If you would look at this in a rapid slow motion, you would watch the bolt release, and as it crosses the threshold of the front, it instead shatters like a powder of iron filings that then ignite into a massive burst of fire. Indeed, a flame bursts from it in a 15-foot cone that kind of torches out for a minute, kind of lighting Denise and kind of singeing her eyebrows a little bit.
They're painted on.
Oh no, Matthew Mercer, do not give this power to Emily Axford. You know not what you mess with. He does go on specifically to say that this is working because of the heightened magic of the apogee solstice, and that it's kind of a pretty limited use situation, but it's still heckin' dope that they sort of have this spell storing opportunity now. They also discuss Bor'dor's magic and encourage him to try and practice and harness it rather than just letting it come out when he's scared.
I just want to help you build your confidence,
And
right?
I
Because they say
appreciate
anxiety is just excitement without the breath. So if you just give it some breath, maybe it'll...
No, we should write that down.
It's honestly very well spoken.
I think I read it somewhere
Did you
already.
read- okay.
Yeah,
I didn't believe in myself until that moment.
They make him a dummy to practice on using a random spine that Laudna has, some of the cloaks and armor from the Ruby Vanguard, and a wig, the most horrifying practice dummy ever.
There you go.
Orym watches next to Ashton and just says, "There's no single way to cope with grief."
Bor'dor focuses on a firebolt and focuses on the dummy catching fire, and despite rolling pretty poorly, it does catch fire. Huzzah! Bor'dor also offers to help Ashton with his meditation efforts by casting Calm Emotions, and for the first time in a long time, the ever-present anxiety, tension, and trauma that Ashton carries with them is gone.
I don't feel anything. It's just sort of... Be over here.
Oh, he's having a good time.
What happened?
It worked.
Oh,
Whatever you did was a good thing.
No, I'm good. Wow.
you okay?
Oh yeah. That.
Cool.
I'm good.
They all decide they want to get in on this, and Bor'dor casts Calm Emotions on all of them. Ashton takes advantage of this calm state to attune to the rocks and landscape around them, and they can sense the energy and vibrations of the surrounds, as well as curious spirits of the forests around the camp. As they turn in for the night, Bor'dor snuggles up with the cougar as the little spoon.
I go in, I lift one of its heavy paws and put it over my neck, And I
Pretty
lay
light
down.
being an air elemental, strangely.
More evidence in our Bor'dor is a dog theory. Just taking it where we can get it. The next day, with a nat 20 roll from Amy, they come across a clearing in the forest with a crater in the center filled with vines and colorful flowers. Orym walks through the crater, blooming similar flowers as he does. Lordna summons Pate onto Orym's shoulder.
On your shoulder. What are we doing? We're going in? I was told to go in as well, so if I go in as the team, it makes me feel safe.
Still have that peaceful feeling.
We're just trying to
Do the dance.
live in the moment and inhale and exhale one breath at a time.
Leans real close into your ear and goes,
Oh, poor Orym. He's just trying his best to get through this trauma. They explore underneath the flowers and discover a petrified skeleton embedded into the stone. Lordna casts Wither and Bloom, killing all of the flowers.
immediately, all of the nearby floor just, like shrivels away into gray and dust.
Beautiful as well.
Sorry, Orym.
Nice.
But
Great
indeed,
job.
No
Little
judgment.
flowers just.
here in the center,
This is fine.
so that they can examine the skeleton more. Ashton uses their abilities Earthwalk and Merge with Stone to sink into the earth by the skeleton and to try and remove it, and Denise helps them with her stone cutting abilities. They manage to get the skull free, and Prism casts Identify on it, learning that it belonged to a githzerai. The Gith are a race of people from the astral realm who, in D&D lore, were enslaved by mind flayers. They rose up to overthrow the mind flayers and set about creating their own society, but there was disagreement about what that society should look like, and the Gith split into two societies, the Githyanki and the Githzerai. The Githyanki had a more conflict-based ideology, seeking out revenge on the mind flayers and aggressively taking from other civilizations, and the Githzerai believed in a more pacifist approach. As far as I'm aware, we've only seen the Gith once before in Critical Role, early in Campaign 1, when Vox Machina found a cursed Githyanki skull in the home of General Krieg. They're certainly not mentioned in the races and cultures sections of the Critical Role setting books, so I'm wondering if we're going to see more of this race playing a part in the Exandrian canon, and maybe we'll see more details about that in future setting books. The crater suggests this githzerai crash landed here, but because it did not disintegrate, they surmise it was crashed here as a punishment. And I want to point out, for a little throwback theory time, that in the beginning of Campaign 3, there was a lot of talk around Ashton being a meteor from outer space themselves because of their rocky body and also the presence of shooting stars in their character portrait. How this could be connected to the githzerai, I'm not sure, but I'm excited for some potential astral realm shenanigans. I mean, I have been saying for a long time that Bell's Hells have got to go to the moon, so maybe this is going to be like an in for that. I know that the astral realm and like the wild space, like space realm, are different, but maybe the technology used to traverse one is going to be used to traverse the other. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. And Prism also points out these similarities between Predathos being imprisoned in a rock in the sky and this githzerai, you know, whoever they were. Oh, I really wish one of them had Speak with Dead. That would be so useful right now.
4 more questions, right? Yes.
On the skeleton, they find a magical ring, a ring of volcanic flesh, which grants a +1 armor class to the wearer and gives them the ability to absorb fire damage and then attack with it. Very cool and perfectly built for Ashton, of course. That night, while they camp, Prism apologizes to Danieos for being kind of sassy, and he gives her a piece of his mind.
Honestly, it didn't hurt my feelings that bad. If anything, I'm excited to see you being slightly more sassy. Confidence is something you've entirely lacked this whole time, and to be also honest, entirely frustrating since I've been assigned to you. So be more sassy, be more confident, be more assertive. Tell people what you think, take what you want, tell them what you need, and if they won't give it to you, remove it from them and make it your own.
You're getting read by a book.
Daddy has spoken.
Ooh.
Ashton shares his magical pipe with Prism, which shows in the smoke your greatest achievement, and it shows Prism in the Shadow Realm and how she escaped there by making herself indispensable to a Cobalt Soul mage who then invited her to join. She left the Shadow Realm without telling her mother except via a letter, and has spent a lot of time wondering if she made the right call, especially since she hasn't advanced through the Cobalt Soul at all since she got there, it seems.
But I mean, she named me Prism, right? Naming you Prism, rainbows and a world of shadows, right? That's gotta be dreaming.
Lordna, speaking undercommon, reassures Prism that her mother is probably very proud of her. Later on, Bor'dor also takes a smoke from the pipe, and his most heroic achievement is doing a firebolt for the first time from this very trip. Orym takes the first watch, and he notices little sprites that mingle around. He wakes up Prism, and she realizes that these are likely the nature spirits of the area, and they might be attracted to Orym given his nature connection. She casts Bigby's hand to lift him up into the sky, and he does a Zephyratom to dance with them.
I think what Orym is thinking about while he's dancing with spirits on a giant skeletal hand is how even in the most terrible of times, and these are the most terrible times right now, we still do find moments of beauty and happiness, just here and there in moments, and that you still have to appreciate them even when they're surrounded on all sides by darkness and hardship. And as he winds down, he just with a half smile to Prism says, breath before fear and anxiety.
It is a really beautiful scene, and I really enjoyed it. As you, this little level 1 character, look up at this ancient red dragon telling you to leave, what do? I hit it with my sword, of course. Huzzah! Hamachi! Okay, well, it's gonna attack you in response. That's a natural 20. Oh no. Okay, so that's double dice. Hold on, just give me a second. I did not think this through. Oh my god, that is so many dice. I hope you're ready. Give every critical hit the drama it deserves with a set of stunning dice from Only Crits. Rolling that fireball damage will feel so good with their sharp-edged resin dice, their little friends collection with the cutest inclusions like these ducks and dinosaurs, their gorgeous metal and stone dice, their chunky oversized dice, and their unique hollow metal dice. They have also recently cut prices on almost all of their dice sets, giving you some incredible savings. If you need something to roll in, they've got you covered with dice towers and trays like this soft hexagon one. Plus, every purchase comes with the free D&D adventure, The Case of the Curious Chart, a seafaring adventure for level 6 characters. Click the link in the description and use the code LUNA at checkout to get 12% off your order. And while you're there, why not check out the upcoming Kickstarter, Gilman's Guide to Speed, a groundbreaking sourcebook for 5e that takes your adventures to electrifying new heights, coming this August. Alright, so that is 564 points of damage. Time to roll up a new character. The third day of travel continues with some conversations, and Bor'dor asks Laudna about her relationship with Imogen, and she responds with,
Sisters from another mister. Do people say that?
I've heard it before.
Yes.
and they were sisters? During Pride Month, no less. No, seriously though, I feel like everyone out there, shippers and non-shippers alike, just need to take a breath. And I want to remind everyone that Laudna doesn't know Bor'dor that well. She isn't necessarily going to confess her love to him, and she may not even have confessed a love to herself, if it does exist. You know, or she is speaking genuinely and she views Imogen as an intimate, close friend. And you know what? Either way, it's gonna be okay. I did see Twitter absolutely implode after this sort of revelation. So I just want to remind everyone, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be a great story, whatever they decide to do with it. Prism offers to cast Scry again for anyone who wants it, including Bor'dor, but he pushes back a couple of times before agreeing that, like, yes, okay, Scry on my brother. What have you got to hide, Bor'dor?
I'm just afraid. I won't say it to the group, but internally I'm afraid that my brother's dead.
Okay, well, yeah, that seems reasonable. He gives Prism a sling to use, and casting Scry, she sees
into a heavily wooded area, a cabin, an empty cabin, furniture, kind of not heavily furnished, dark, shaded, empty.
Can I see what she sees? Yeah. Can I see?
You can glance into the mirror where she's holding it, and you can see the same imagery.
Where is he?
Is this your house?
Well, that's where he stays. Yes, where is he?
Bor'dor is scared that his brother got taken away somehow, and he also mentions that this is where he stays, not necessarily where he lives, which I guess would make sense if you have sort of cabins scattered around a property for hunting and such, but I do feel like something is not really adding up, and Denise is a little suspicious as well. I can't wait until we just find out that Bor'dor is just a regular old farmer, and we've been reading into everything so obsessively for, like, absolutely nothing. Prism also attempts to cast Scry on Lewdness, but immediately finds his mind closed to her, which, you know, totally makes sense that he would have some kind of anti-divination magic running. Later that night, they once again discuss what the right thing to do is, and whether Exandria needs the gods.
As time goes on, maybe we just need to accept that Exandria is gonna change. And to exactly the point you're making, maybe it's just about not even making it change for the better, but just not making it change for the worst.
Look, I may be reading too much into this, but Marisha is the creative director for Critical Role. If she's saying, through Laudna, that we gotta accept that Exandria has to change, then, maybe the death of the gods to pave way for a D&D free world in Campaign 4 using Daggerheart, that's one way to do it. I honestly can't imagine what Exandria would look like without the gods, but I also think it's gonna be so fascinating when the two halves of Bell's Hells meet up again, because, we've seen Team Wildmount directly interface with the prime deities and say, like, yes, we're gonna help them, and we also have Team AOL here saying, I don't know, maybe they just need to die. Maybe we just need to accept that that's what's going to happen. Ooh, it's going to be juicy. Bor'dor explicitly states too that he doesn't necessarily believe that Bell's Hells can take down lewdness, and he doesn't want to die by being with them. And I really appreciated this. I think it's really good to have some variance in these characters, to have a character who doesn't want to be a hero. I think is really interesting, and it also kind of grounds the story in a really good way. Critical Role, I think, has a tendency to try and keep things fairly, realistic. And I say that with, very heavy air quotes. Not realistic in terms of, things that could actually happen in the world, but realistic in the way that people react to things that happen in the world. And so having just a regular person just be like, this is too scary for me and I don't want any part of it, I think is really valid and cool. And it opens up those conversations too about what it means to be a hero, who has to step up and fix things, and whose responsibility it is, and when can you walk away, and when do you feel compelled to do something. While the others are sleeping, Orym takes out seedling and plants it in the ground, adorns it with flowers, and prays to the Wild Mother.
I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear any of us anymore. I hope you can. I've heard too many stories firsthand and read too many tales to discount the good that many of you have done in this world. I don't know if you have anything left in you, but I'm praying. We could really use a little help down here. I know you can too, and we'll do our best. But any miracle you can spare.
Continuing on, they come to the edge of a large crevasse, the Orym Canyon. The wind cougar Eilidon climbs down the side and waits at the bottom for them. They discuss strategies for how to get down. Prism casts Enlarge on Mother to ferry them down, and Orym holds onto her feet and takes a big leap off to basically use her as a paraglider. I loved all of the Zelda references. It's going to be very clear in future rewatches when Tears of the Kingdom came out. Unfortunately, though, Orym and Mother plummet 40 feet. Memories of Keyfish.
It's a straight strength check.
We're basically gods.
She's enlarged.
Mother manages to right herself, though, at the last minute, and her and Orym do glide down to the bottom of the canyon unscathed. Laudna casts Featherfall on the rest of them, and they float down the bottom to join Orym and Mother. They then travel through this crevasse until they reach the home of the Archdruid, which is signaled by some bright blue bushes. Nearby is a hill, which is breathing. Don't know what that is, but they managed to sneak by it because it didn't notice them. There is a carved opening in the rock with words written above it in primordial that read, "Within the verdant tomb, we keep her spirit enduring." In the rock is crystal growths which refract light, potentially residuum or natural residuum. Bor'dor manages to pry some out, and Prism, believing it to be an elemental refractor, casts Ray of Frost through it.
The Ray of Frost, which has a specific amount of force and intensity to it, gathers within the crystal, and then there's a brief moment before it refracts out, almost like the force of it has been divided into 9 separate smaller rays.
I'm really enjoying how we're seeing magic getting kind of funky lately. It's fun, it's interesting. They continue into the cavern and find a living space with furniture and cooking pots, but with sort of all a very natural and earthen feel, but there's no one around. Prism does a little look, and she does find some footprints of elves or half-elves. They continue going deeper in until they come to a pool, in the center of which is
the apex of this climbing mass of stone steps rises up to what you can see is a glowing green obelisk, a 12-foot or so monolithic crystal that comes to a pointed apex. It is giving off a dull green glow that just kind of fills the chamber. And it looks like it's shaded or obscured towards its center.
Along the walls and sort of everywhere, there are glyphs carved, which appear to be preparations for an event, probably the apogee solstice. This crystal obelisk looks a lot like residuum, but natural residuum that hasn't been refined yet. Orym notices that the center of the crystal looks like the outline of a body, and then...
Or maybe that's our guy.
And
Maybe
you
that's
glance
our...
up in the ceiling where you can see the crystals all rising, and amongst the cluster of crystals, you swear you see a face.
What?
And right as you meet its eyes, it smiles.
Fuck me.
And that's where we're going to end the episode.
Okay, so, questions. Well, number one, what is the verdant tomb, and who is enshrined there? Is it the smiling face that Orym saw, or is it going to be someone else? And what created this pillar of natural residuum? We know the residuum found around Whitestone was created by the magical energy that was unleashed during a battle between the Dawnfather and the Chained Oblivion during the Calamity. So are there divine powers involved here as well that made this obelisk? As always, let me know your thoughts and theories in the comments, and if you want to learn more about residuum, I do talk about it a lot in my History of Whitestone video right here. Bye!